the United States of America, a country so proud of its democracy that it constantly claims to be seeking to export it to countries around the world. But at home, it's a different story. Within domestic politics, the two main parties are regularly involved in the blame game. Republicans claim Democrats are threats to democracy, while Democrats accuse Republicans of undermining the Constitution. But political bickering aside, what system governs the US? Well, the answer isn't so straightforward. Technically, the US operates as a representative democracy, meaning elected officials are chosen by the people to make decisions for the country, as opposed to a direct democracy, which involves the public directly making decisions that impact their country, such as electing the president. So you can still call it a democracy. But then you also hear Americans say,
"We are not a pure democracy. We are a constitutional republic."
By the way, the United States of America is not a democracy. You know what a democracy is? It's two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. You don't want to be in a democracy, okay? Majority rule, not always a good thing.
The United States of America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
In simple terms, democracy and republic generally imply the same thing. When the United States was founded in 1776 and separated from the British Empire, which was and still is a monarchy, the terms democracy and republic were often used interchangeably, as both systems highlighted that the governing power belonged to the people, not to a king. George Thomas, the Walford Professor of American Political Institutions at Claremont McKenna College, points out that the founding generation described the American system as a republic, meaning a government run by representatives chosen by citizens, and did not view this structure as incompatible with or separate from democracy.
Honestly, the word democracy and the word republic have often been used interchangeably. There isn't a meaningful difference between them. These words were used in different ways in the 18th century, and it's true the founders didn't want direct democracy, by which they meant people gathering on the town square. They wanted representative democracy.
In most US elections, the candidate with the most votes wins, except of course for the presidency, thanks to a somewhat complicated system known as the Electoral College. This is what makes things a little confusing. Essentially, unlike in most democracies, Americans don't get the ultimate say in electing their president. This is because in 1787, the nation's founding fathers held a constitutional convention and debated as to whether it should be Congress or the people who choose the president. The Electoral College emerged as a result. So now, instead of being directly elected by the country's over 230 million eligible voters, the president is chosen by 538 members of the Electoral College. Therefore, a US presidential candidate simply needs 270 electoral votes to secure the White House. Each state has a certain number of electoral voters based on the state's population, with a minimum of 3 electors for the US's smallest states. Most states award all their electoral votes to the candidate who wins the majority of the votes. This means a candidate who receives over 50% of the votes in a state can be given all of the electoral votes that state is entitled to. Thus, a candidate can win the nationwide popular vote and still lose the election. Like in 2016, when Hillary Clinton ended up with almost 3 million more votes than Donald Trump, but still lost. But because of the imbalance in electoral votes different states have, candidates often focus on swing states where the outcome is uncertain, instead of just trying to get the most votes overall. So, what do you think about the US's style of democracy?